We have made quite a few videos on vices, from how to make them straight to how we might cut soft jaws on them. But as machinists, as operators, we need these vices working very smoothly and very accurately in order for us to make good parts. And in order to do that, our vices need some attention from time to time. If you haven't cleaned your vise in a while, now's a good time. If there are any chips underneath our floating jaw, we want to take care of them. And it only takes a few minutes. Loosen the set screw, pop the jaw off, making sure to grab our half moon spacer. Clean everything, put a dab of grease on the spacer, lightly oil everything and put it back together. Now this screw is really important. You don't want your floating jaws so loose that chips can get between it and the vise. Tighten the set screw, and this is important, back it off just a little so things don't bind. For basic preventative maintenance, something that an operator is going to be doing all the time, that is it. We are done. Now beyond making sure that that floating jaw is free of chips and everything is clean, that's it. We're going to want to take a look at our bearing pack and repack it with grease every 6 months or so, depending on how much we're using our vise, if we want things to keep working smoothly forever. This full process is described in our Haas Work Holding by Kurt manual for this particular DX6. We'll remove the jaw like we showed you earlier. We'll remove the 4 bolts on the retaining ring at the rear of the vise and unscrew it. We can use our screws and a spanner wrench to reach our second inner retaining ring. Now at this point, our whole screw assembly can be removed, exposing our thrust bearings and those thrust washers on each side of it. We will clean the entire assembly, re-grease all the moving parts, and reassemble. We will lightly snug the first retaining ring. We don't want to over-tighten the bearing. The second retaining ring can be tightened until it stops and then backed off by a half of a turn before we put our screws back in and tighten them. Now we could wait until the vise binds up after years and years and years of misuse and then just buy a rebuild kit. They're really inexpensive. You can buy a rebuild kit for these with the thrust bearings for like $20 with all the seals. And that's a good option. But that's not the point of this video. The 2 points of this video are, number 1, the operator has to know what this screw does, so he can adjust it up and down to make sure that chips don't get underneath our floating jaw. If chips are getting underneath there, because he's got this thing way up in the air, it could cause us some accuracy problems. So we don't want that. So that's the number 1 reason. Accuracy. Keep those things clean for the operator. And secondly, repacking those bearings is important every now and then, because when we're running very, very tiny little parts, little tiny guys that we might have cut soft jaws for, it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure to crush them in a vise like this that's got all kinds of holding power. So this kind of maintenance is important to save us money in the long run. That's it. But it's more important just so we end up making good parts each and every day. That's it for this Haas Tip of the Day. Thanks for watching.